Indie games are a big part of this channel, and in today's video you will see the Plucky Square as something that I will say really fun 2D kind of like illustrations chunky game that, well, I loved. I really loved it. So let's see in this video why I really was impressed by this game and why I recommend you to play it and try it. So if you're new to the channel, please support us with a like and comment. If this is not the first time but you're not subscribed yet, well, what's stopping you? And let's start. So first of all, I have to say that Plucky Square is a very interesting genre. It's a fantasy world where you live inside of the book, and it's very imaginative, full of bustling towns, arid forests, and towering mountains. The idea of the game is very interesting, but we'll get into it. It's the desk of the constructions where the objects of the wooden blocks and something similar appears, and it has the strange kind of magic. The bridges in the game made from rulers, the houses formed from the post-it notes, these are the kind of the details that you are dropped in straight up when you load the game. I have to say that in terms of general feeling and the atmosphere, it's amazing. The game taps its childlike view at the world where the mundanes are the things that are doorways to great dreams and endless possibilities. This is the clever use of space and perspectives that what makes the Plucky Square so uniquely charming. The game's brilliant captures the way the children fixates on the details, on the grain of wood, on the woodens of edges and playing cards, let's say, and that they imagines build an entire world around playing with cards and all of these things. It emerges into the reality and the fantastical in a way that feels seamless and true experience of being a child. And it's in the blending of the childhood memories, the magical design that the game feels. Despite its simplicity, the Plucky Square, it manages to create something special for relatively basic mechanics, combat, platforming and puzzles. But from what I can say, it actually feels like something very familiar into something more profound in terms of the game abilities to mimic imagination of the world of a child. Each piece will be a block that will kind of like create this system of a puzzle that feels like a much larger with more whimsical more. This approach turns what could be more of well crafted than a standard game into something quietly introduced and deeply moving. The narrative centers around Tutor Square, who is a local hero in the children's book. During a battle with the evil hazard Hum, the square onto the desk where the paper clips, pencil sharpeners and doodle converted pods serve as landscape to this new adventure. The game transitions between 2D book and the 3D physical world that becomes kind of like a center of the game's mechanics and the story. The square works prevent the Hum from rewriting the book. Writers are taking off in a journey to go through the book and colorful worlds and real-world desk environments. This transitions from top-bottom to the sides, kind of like platformer almost gameplay, feels really very cool and refreshing. Even when the squirrel is still in 2D form, there is a pleasant physical to the world. In some sections, players must solve performing puzzles by picking up objects, by weighting down switches, or open new pathways. While this isn't really groundbreaking mechanics, the game's magic lies in the way these 2D objects can be brought into the 3D world, blending into the two realms in the creative ways. Every time I had to carry 2D blocks into the 3D world, I felt it's kind of like a almost different feeling. The combat system in the game, while relatively straightforward, also feels satisfying tactile. Enemies squash and pop up under the squirrel's sword strikes, which are dealt with the weapons that's what's cleverly designed to resemble a pen nib. Another reminder of the game's playful merging of the real and fantastical. The movement between 2D and 3D is kind of handled with an elegance that compensates the game's overall charm. The Plucky Square is structured into the puzzle game that rather more than an open-world sandbox. So the transition between dimensions occur at a specific point in the narrative. Typically, these transitions are tied to the collecting items that will preserve useful back to the book's fantasy world. For example, one of the simpler mechanics allows players to turn pages to the more useful parts and find out the things where they might need in this specific moment. The design encourages players to think creatively and ties the narrative tightly to the gameplay. Occasionally the game throws a minigame or a puzzle that feels like a bit fiddly, but these moments are rare and can be skipped without a penalty. Overall, the game's series offers simple mechanics, combat platforming, and puzzle solving things are touched with the sense of magic and nostalgia that evolves into the experience that aren't just a game system. There are moments that are placed and evokes into memories of the childhood's imagination and creativity. At its heart, Plucky Squire is a love letter of the way of art and stories can inspire us. Super stainlessly, I have to say that this game is amazing. And if you're looking for something new to play in the indie genre that probably is not wasn't really overused in terms of like the scenarios, gameplay mechanics and all these things, this is the game for you. Even if you're not expecting much from the visuals now, I would recommend you to maybe wait for a shorter period of time where it will be less in price and just pick it up, because believe me, you will enjoy the whole experience. The Plucky Square is likely to leave a very lasting impression, but believe me, this is a very cool story, especially if you have a kid near you to play together with your child. Well, I wish you a very nice day, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!